call me Jonah. My parents did, or nearly did. They called me John. Jonah, John. If I had been a Sam, I would have been a Jonah still. When I was a much younger man, I began to collect material for a book to be called The Day the World Ended. The book was to be factual, about Dr. Honecker, the guy who invented the atom bomb. Dr. Honecker passed away some years ago, so I went to see one of his colleagues that now owns the lab that he worked in, Dr. Breed. His secretary said he was out today, so I got his address and decided to drop by. Hey, Dr. Breed?
Yes. Did anyone see you come in?
I don't think so.
Okay. Come on in. Sit down. Make yourself to home.
Right.
Would you like a drink?
Sure, yeah. Thank you very much. So you, knew Dr. Honecker?
Yes, he was an associate of mine. He's a physicist on the Manhattan Project.
I see.
All I have is this English or Irish beer. I almost said English, but it was Irish.
Oh, that's fine. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Enjoy. Now, to get down to discussion here.
Yes. Discussion.
I think I mentioned it before. He was an associate physicist working on the Manhattan Project. Very intelligent man. He was very interesting at explaining things. He made it so simple and understandable that generals and admirals looked on him sort of as a magician.
A magician?
A magician. Like the time before Felix died. And admirals and the Marine generals were trying to get him to do something about the mud.
To do with the mud?
The mud. It's just that the Marines have been fighting in for over 200 years.
The absence of mud?
Yes. The absence of mud. Correct.
So no more mud?
No more mud.
Well, I suppose it might be possible with mountains of some sort of chemical or tons of machinery.
No, what the general really had in mind was a kill or a small machine that Marines were sick of carrying heavy objects in the mud, and they wanted something little to carry.
So what did Felix do about it?
What Felix tried to say in a playful way, which he always said in a playful way, that there perhaps was small grain of something that would encompass the swamp, the creek, the muck, the mire, and make it so that it was all one solid piece like this table. According to Felix, a whole battalion of Marines bogged down in the Everglades, one Marine with them with this particle could free up the whole division and would carry this under one particle under his fingernail.
That's impossible.
Not according to Felix. In his playful way, you might say so, I might say so, and everyone else might say so. But to Felix, it was everything is possible. He treated old puzzles like new ones. I told you what a good explainer Felix was.
I'm still with you.
He was able to explain it to me, and I'm sure I can explain it to you. The puzzle is how to get the Marines out of the mud, right?
Yeah.
There are certain ways that crystals, the atoms of which, can stack and lock, and from liquids to a solid.
The old man invited me to think of several ways in which cannonballs might be stacked on a courthouse lawn, or of several ways in which oranges might be packed into a crate. The theoretical villain, however, was what Dr. Breed called a seed. The seed, which had come from God only knows where, taught the atoms the novel way in which to stack and lock, to crystallize and freeze.
Just suppose that there are many ways to make ice. We'll call it ice 1, ice 2, and ice 3. But we're going to call ours ice 9. And it will be just as hard as the table again. And it will have a melting point of 130 degrees.
All right, I'm still with you.
That beer must be almost gone. Would you like another?
Sure. Thank you.
Okay, are these anyone's empties?
Sure.
Here you go.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
You're very welcome. No zdrowie.
Amen to that, sister.
Now, where were we? Oh, yes. Just suppose that the howitzers and tanks and trucks were wallowing in the mud, and there was a puddle in front of them. And one Marine had a seed from ice 9.
Then the puddle would freeze?
Correct. Not only the puddle, but the mud around it.
And then it would freeze.
That's correct. And the water, and then all the puddles that are in the muck.
And then it would freeze.
You bet they'd freeze. They'd freeze up tighter than... I don't know how to explain it.
So, you're saying there is such a thing?
No. There's not. It's just a figment of Felix's imagination, and how he come across makes it believable.
So, there really isn't such a thing?
I just told you that was when the Felix was eating by himself, not to be interrupted when the general came up and asked him about mud. He said, I just told you about mud.
But I keep thinking about the swamp. There's no more mud?
The mud is still there, but it's coagulated because now it is ice.
So, you're saying there is such a thing?
Yes and no. You figure it out. It's your puzzle now.
I went in wanting to learn more about Dr. Honecker. I came out knowing more about Ice 9. But I never would have guessed. Never would have even thought. This small little particle fit under the fingernail will lead to the greatest destruction in the history of man.